Okay, picture this. You're actually holding a preserved human brain right in your hands. It's heavy, it's wet, and as neuroscientist Dr. Wendy Suzuki realized in this exact moment, it holds a pretty profound secret. Every single thought, every memory, every trauma, every bit of anxiety, and every joyous moment of that person's entire existence is physically captured right there, in that little 3-pound ball of matter. I mean, it literally has the consistency of firm tofu. It is without a doubt the most complex structure known to humankind, yet we rarely give it a second thought, until something goes wrong, right? So, in today's Explainer, our goal is to completely demystify some truly groundbreaking neuroscience and give you the actual, actionable daily habits you need to optimize your mind. We're going to unpack what Dr. Suzuki playfully calls the big, fat, fluffy brain protocol. Because as it turns out, a big, fluffy brain is a healthy, thriving brain. And by the end of this, you are going to know exactly how to build one for yourself. Okay, let's dive straight into our scientific roadmap for today. First, your big, fluffy brain. Second, the ultimate brain builder. Third, 4 rules for better memory. Fourth, habits that actually shrink your brain. And finally, the hidden power of anxiety. Section 1, your big, fluffy brain. To really improve our minds, we have to target specific anatomy. We're talking about areas like the prefrontal cortex, which sits right behind your forehead and controls your focus, and the hippocampus, which is your core memory center. Now, for a long time, scientists firmly believed that adult brain anatomy was, well, totally fixed. Like, once you grow up, that was it. No new cells, no changing shape, you're stuck with what you've got. But we now know that is completely false, all thanks to a concept called neuroplasticity. Neuroplasticity is the brain's proven ability to actively change its physical shape, form new connections, and, get this, even grow brand new cells based entirely on your environment and your daily behaviors. You are literally the architect of your own mind. And this next study brilliantly illustrates exactly how this plasticity works. Back in the 1960s, Dr. Marion Diamond conducted this groundbreaking experiment comparing 2 groups of adult rats. One group lived in a super boring shoebox cage, just food, water, and isolation. The other group, though, they lived in the Disney world of rat cages. We're talking rotating toys, lots of playmates, highly simulated environment. And the result? The Disney World rats, who were essentially just living their absolute best lives, literally grew a thicker cortex. Their brains physically expanded, just from all that environmental stimulation. And we see this exact same physical growth in humans too. Take aspiring London taxi drivers, for example. To get their license, they have to pass this insanely difficult test called the Knowledge. It requires memorizing the complex, tangled web of London streets over 4 years. 4 years of studying maps. Brain scans of these drivers revealed that the successful ones actually developed a physically larger posterior hippocampus compared to the ones who failed. Intense learning physically expands your memory center. It's like a muscle. Section 2, the ultimate brain builder. So, if we know the brain can physically grow, how do we trigger it? Well, the single most powerful, immediate lifestyle input you can use to transform your brain's physical structure today is aerobic exercise. When you get your heart rate up and you break a sweat, you are essentially giving your brain a bubble bath of neurochemicals. It's amazing. You immediately release this massive surge of mood-boosting dopamine and serotonin. But more importantly, you release growth factors. These travel straight to your hippocampus and directly stimulate the growth of brand new brain cells. Every single drop of sweat literally counts toward building a fluffier hippocampus. And the protective benefits of this are absolutely staggering. To put this into perspective, a study looking at adults age 65 and older found that those taking just 3 walks a week saw a 30% reduction in their probability of developing dementia over the next 5 years. Let that sink in. 30%. Now, exercise doesn't necessarily eliminate Alzheimer's completely, but by building a massive, fluffy hippocampus, it takes the disease significantly longer to do enough damage to actually show symptoms. Think about what that means for your long-term independence and quality of life. It's a real game changer. Section 3, 4 rules for better memory. So moving from physical growth to the actual mechanics of retaining information in your daily life, so the crucial point is there are 4 specific steps to cementing facts into your long-term memory. First, repetition. Simple enough, the more you encounter it, the better it sticks. Second is association. This means linking new info to something familiar, like using a memory palace to mentally place new items inside your childhood home.
Third is novelty. Our brains naturally pay attention to new, surprising things because historically, they could be dangerous. And fourth, emotional resonance.
Now, that fourth point, emotional resonance, is incredibly powerful. Right in front of your hippocampus sits this tiny almond-shaped structure called the amygdala. And this is your brain's emotion center. During highly emotional moments, whether that's extreme happiness or profound sadness, the amygdala essentially infuses the hippocampus with a chemical jolt. It literally shocks your memory center to permanently solidify that emotional event into your mind forever. That's why you remember where you were during major life events so vividly.
Section 4. Habits that shrink your brain. Unfortunately, just as we can build the brain up, we can easily break it down. There is a very stark contrast between what builds our mind and what shrinks it. While aerobic exercise and a colorful Mediterranean diet build you up, sitting all day and eating highly processed foods tear you down. But the absolute biggest offender, sleep deprivation. Without deep sleep, your brain literally cannot clear out its toxic biological garbage, so you end up with a gunky brain full of toxic metabolites. It totally ruins your focus and actively shrinks your neural connections. And we really can't talk about brain shrinkers without talking about the smartphone. Our brains require deep, real-world human connection to thrive. It's how we're wired. But instead, we're replacing face-to-face community with the constant dopamine slot machine of social media. This constant pulling of the lever for notifications robs us of true cognitive growth. It damages real relationships, and it actively spikes our anxiety levels through constant unnatural comparison and overstimulation.
Section 5, the hidden power of anxiety. Let's totally reframe the discussion here, from just physical health to emotional optimization. Specifically, let's look at this modern epidemic of everyday anxiety that pretty much all of us are feeling. We usually view everyday anxiety as a defect, right? Like a disease we need to completely eradicate. But Dr. Suzuki argues for what she calls good anxiety. It's actually an ancient evolutionary warning system. When your sympathetic nervous system, your fight-or-flight response, activates, it is just trying to protect you. The problem is that today, it's constantly misfiring. We're getting a full-body survival response not because a lion is chasing us, but because, well, we got a vaguely threatening email from our boss or a nasty direct message. Now, what's really interesting about this slide is that the physiological cure to this misfire is surprisingly simple. You have an internal rest and digest mode called the parasympathetic nervous system. To manually turn down the volume on your anxiety, you just need a quick physical intervention. Step 1, notice the stress response. Step 2, take 3 very deep breaths. And step 3, step away for a 10-minute walk. That's it. Deep breathing is actually the only conscious control you have over your autonomic nervous system to immediately slow your heart rate down. And, this reframing of negative emotions goes even deeper. When Dr. Suzuki tragically lost both her father and her younger brother within just 3 months of each other, she was understandably hit with unfathomable grief. But by working through that pain, she found a profound wisdom. She realized that intense grief is just the necessary flip side of deep love. If she hadn't loved them so immensely, she simply wouldn't have grieved so deeply. Our most painful emotions are actually compasses, pointing directly to what we value most in this world. Which leaves us with a truly provocative thought to end on today. If you were handed a pill right now that could instantly erase all your grief, your sadness, and your anxiety, would you take it? Because by eradicating that pain, you might also wipe out your entire capacity for profound love, empathy, and joy. A truly optimized, healthy brain isn't just a happy one all the time. It requires experiencing the lowest lows to fully appreciate the highest highs. Thank you so much for joining me in this explainer to explore the incredible human brain today. I'll catch you in the next one.